Hi there. My name's Mr. Stu. I'm so excited that you're here to spend a few minutes with me. I was thinking about some of the things that are going on in the world, and I started to get a little scared. Have you ever felt scared? Yeah. Now sometimes it can be fun to be scared. Like if we're watching a movie with the people who take care of us and we're all snuggled up, and maybe there's a part of the movie that makes us go, ooh, that's fun to be scared. But there are other times it's not so fun to be scared. Maybe when you're laying in your bed, maybe when all the lights are off, or maybe you don't like scary movies, and those are not the fun kind of scared to you. Well, however you feel you're scared is okay. But there's another word that maybe you've heard, and maybe you've been working really hard to figure out what that word means. That word is anxiety. Here, let me write it down so that we can say it together. Here we go. Let's see if we can sound it out together. Anxiety. Let's do it again. This time, maybe we can go a little faster. Anxiety. One more time, and let's see if we can just read the word together. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Anxiety. Great job. And maybe you can keep practicing and you'll be able to say it like this. Anxiety. Oh, yeah, I bet you will. Well, anxiety isn't just feeling scared. Anxiety is a little bit more than that. Anxiety is what we think, what we feel, and what we do when we feel scared. Let me make sure that we remember those things together, because those three things are really important. It's what we think, green, I love green. What we feel, and what we do when we feel scared. That's anxiety. You got it. What we think, what we feel, and what we do when we feel scared. Can you think of any scary thoughts? What are some scary thoughts to think? No way. Those are some really scary thoughts. You must be so brave to have those thoughts and still be as strong as you are. That's what we think. And then the next piece is what we feel when we're scared. Now maybe you've seen some of these silly faces on a tablet or a phone, and they look like yellow circles with different things drawn on them. Let's see if we can guess the feelings together. Are you ready? I'm gonna draw one at a time, and Mr. Stu is not the best drawer, so if you don't get it right, that's okay. What's that feeling? Happy! There are so many times I feel happy. When my dog comes over to me when I get home from work and I get to pet him, it makes me feel so happy. There's another feeling. Can you tell me what that feeling is? Sad. There have been times that Mr. Stu has felt very sad. Have you ever felt sad? It's okay if you feel sad sometimes. Maybe sometimes you even feel this way. Angry. There are some things that can make us angry, and it's okay to feel angry too, but we have to watch what we do when we feel angry. So if you start to feel angry, make sure you tell an adult you trust, and they can help you feel more happy. But you know what? My favorite of the faces, and it's a feeling too. Sometimes we might feel kind of poopy. So, anxiety is what we think, what we feel, and what we do when we're feeling scared. Let's think of 2 times when people get scared. Can you tell me 2 times when you or someone you have seen got scared? Wow. Thank you for telling me about those times when someone was scared. I can think of 2 different ways that I felt scared before. The first way was when I was learning to jump off the diving board for the first time. And I stepped up onto the diving board and I walked all the way out to the end, and I stood there and I looked because it looked like it was so far down. And I looked over and my mommy was right over there. And I said, "Watch me!" And she said, "I will!" And I jumped and I went, "Ah!" And then I splashed and hit the water. And when I came back up, I looked up at my mommy and I said, "I want to do that again." That was a fun time to be scared. But then there have been times when it was not so fun to be scared. Sometimes at night, when it's dark and really quiet, Mr. Stu gets a little scared then too. Have you ever felt scared in a not so fun way? I'm sorry those things happened, but like I said before, you must be so brave, and it's okay to feel scared. If you start to feel scared, just talk to an adult you trust, and remember, they can help you feel maybe even a little bit more happy. And our word today is anxiety. Anxiety is what we think what we feel and what we do when we feel scared. Those scary thoughts and those scary feelings and those sometimes fun and sometimes not so fun doings. It's what we think, what we feel, and what we do. That's anxiety. And there are some things today that are making a lot of adults feel anxiety. They're having some pretty scary thoughts, and they're having some pretty scary feelings, and they're doing some pretty scary doings. And they feel anxiety. And guess what? It's okay if you feel anxiety too. Just tell an adult you trust, and they can help you with your anxiety, and maybe they can help you feel a little bit more happy. So anxiety, it's what we think, what we feel, and what we do when we're scared. It's also a little bit like an alarm. Can you think of anything that has an alarm? You're so smart. That's such a great example of an alarm. And when alarms go off, it means that something is dangerous. Maybe it's a tornado siren or a tornado alarm. And it tells us that we need to get somewhere safe because there's some bad weather coming. Maybe it's the fire alarm at school when we're having a fire drill. Or maybe when you're at home, it's the smoke detector that beeps when there's smoke. I can remember when I was little, my mommy would sometimes cook and burn the toast. And the toast, it didn't catch on fire. It would just smoke. And that smoke would set off the smoke detector. And it would go beep, 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 like there was something dangerous. But there was nothing dangerous. Mommy had taken the toast out of the toaster, and there was just a little bit of smoke in the house. That's what's called a false alarm. And sometimes anxiety can be a false alarm. You see, some things are worth feeling scared about. Like if you're walking and you hear a rattle of a rattlesnake, it might be okay to feel pretty scared, and it might help you get away from danger. Or if maybe someone you don't know tries to talk to you, that would be scary, and there might be good reason to be scared. So it could help you get away from that situation too. Sometimes our alarm is telling us that something is dangerous, and it really is dangerous. But sometimes, just like when my mommy was cooking, that alarm, that anxiety goes off when there's nothing really to be scared about. Can I tell you something silly about Mr. Stu? Every time I jump in a pool, every time, I think a big whale is gonna come swallow me up. Now that's so silly because a whale wouldn't even fit in a pool with Mr. Stu. But every time I jump in a pool, I can't help but have that silly, scary thought that that whale is gonna come up and swallow me up. Have you ever had any silly, scary thoughts? Maybe you were scared when it was happening, but afterwards you laughed or found out from someone you trust that it was really nothing to worry about. Have you ever had any of those silly, scary times? That's really silly. So sometimes it's really scary times, and sometimes it's silly scary times, and sometimes anxiety, our alarm that tells us what we should think and feel and do when we're scared. Sometimes it's not a really scary alarm, and it's not a silly scary alarm. It's what we call a false alarm. Just like when mommy would burn the toast and the smoke detector would go off, and she would yell and she would say, "False alarm!" And what that means is the smoke detector might be going off, but don't worry, nothing dangerous is actually happening. Well, anxiety can sometimes make us feel that alarm, and it can be really scary. It can make us think and feel and do some really scary things, and that's anxiety. So if you start to feel scared, and you start to have some scary thoughts, and you start to have some scary feelings, and you start to do some scary doings, maybe you're feeling anxiety. And it's okay to feel that way. If you feel that way, you can tell an adult you trust, and they can help you feel a little less of that anxiety, and maybe feel even just a little bit more happy. And there's something that you can do too. If you start to have some scary thinkings and some scary feelings and some scary doings, there's one thing I want to teach you to help you control your alarm, to help you control your anxiety. And it's as easy as thinking about cookies. Do you like cookies? What's your favorite kind? Well, I like chocolate chip cookies that have just come out of the oven, and maybe with a little bit of peanut butter in them too. So when those cookies come out of the oven, Mr. Stu likes to take one and he smells it because he can smell that chocolatey, doughy cookie goodness. And Mr. Stu would want to take a bite really fast, but he can't because the cookie is too hot. So after Mr. Stu takes that big whiff sniff of the chocolate chip cookie, Mr. Stu blows off the cookie to help it cool down. And that's what you can do when you start to feel anxiety. You don't have to have a cookie. We can use our thinker. And what we do is we hold our hands out in front of us like this. And in your brain, start to imagine that you have a cookie in your hand. Sometimes it can help to close your eyes. So if you close your eyes and think in your hands, there's one of your favorite warm cookies. And you are just focusing on that cookie, and it's everything you can do to hold back from taking a bite of that cookie. But before you take a bite, you want a good whiff sniff, and then you need to blow it off because it's too hot. Let's try that together. We'll take a big whiff sniff, And then we'll blow it off together. A big whiff sniff. And then blow it off together. Can we try it one time together? Here we go. And if you do that 3 times, then it might help you feel a little less anxiety. And if you start to feel anxiety in a way that's not silly scary, it's really scary. Or maybe it's false alarm scary. If you start to feel anxiety in any of those ways, you can tell an adult you trust. And maybe they can help you meet someone who can help you with your anxiety. You were so brave today, talking to me about scary thoughts and scary feelings and scary doings. You were so brave. Thank you for spending time with me. Remember, you are so special. And it's okay to feel however you feel. So the next time you feel anxiety, remember, it's okay. And you are so brave. Tell an adult you trust about any feelings that are really hard to feel, and they can help you move from that feeling, and maybe they can help you feel a little bit more happy. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. It was so good to see you, and I hope to see you again really soon. Until then, share the love. Bye-bye.